Hi everyone, and welcome to day 5 of the challenge. Get seen and start selling. I hope you are very much on your way to being clearer about why you want to get seen, how you want to get seen, where you want to get seen, and starting to shift some of those ideas around selling and around how you're seen and what you have to offer. Now, today is where some of the magic can really happen. And in a way, I cheated a little bit because I kind of told you the secret to this yesterday. So today is about the secret to selling with soul. And within the coaching that I do, I quite often talk about selling with soul, because selling with soul feels very, very different to feeling like you've got this thing, this product, this service that you're forcing on people. When we sell with soul, we sell from the heart, we sell from my soul, we sell because it's so connected to what we do, because we know we can make a difference, and it's because it's our absolute passion and purpose in life. And maybe you're going, whoa, hold on there, Claire, I don't know, I'm not fully there yet. Some of you will know what I mean. Some of you will be totally in that zone already. Some of you might not be there yet, but that's okay. That doesn't mean that you can't sell with soul until you're there. You can absolutely start doing it today. And I'm going to talk through some things right now to explain what that looks like, how it feels, and how you can shift some of those beliefs you might have currently about selling. So let's start with the ickiness around selling, right? Because for lots of people who are heart-centered, who are starting businesses, once you've had a business for a while, you start getting over lots of this. But if your business is new, or if you've been used to not having to actually sell your business, you've instead just been able to give the services, this might still feel like a icky point or an uncomfortable point for you. So let's start with some of the beliefs that you might have about selling, because if selling feels uncomfortable, if it feels icky in any way, I can guarantee it's because you've got different layers of belief going on around what selling really is. Or maybe you've got specific memories when you were growing up around people selling and how it felt uncomfortable or icky at the time. So maybe it brings back memories for you. And I think when I now look back, and when I started doing this belief work around selling and around what I actually kind of imagined selling to be and how I thought of it, a lot of the ickiness and discomfort around it for me came from memories of being a child, watching people try to sell to my parents. I will never forget the numerous times that my dad would get really annoyed because there was another person ringing at tea time as we were about to sit down for dinner, trying to sell something that he didn't want. I remember the people who would ring the doorbell and sell at the door, again, always around tea time, and how he would get really annoyed with that. And he would be as polite as possible, but you could see it really got under his skin. And so I felt that, and I felt that discomfort for him. And I sometimes felt sorry for the people who were selling, but it was all uncomfortable. When I think back as well to that time, some of the other thoughts and things that come up for me are things like, those ads that you'd see in newspapers or some on TV that totally oversold the product and that weren't actually a true reflection of what you were getting. And now adverts have to be so much clearer and more specific around the actual results. But I'm sure you can remember the days where they would advertise mascara on someone full of false lashes, for example. And so the results that they were trying to sell and saying that you were going to get wasn't actually true and in alignment with what you were really getting. And that was something that, again, I saw frustrate my parents, and I picked up on that frustration, and I took that on myself as some of the beliefs. So I know that you're going to have some of that kind of stuff going on as well. Maybe it's different, maybe it's completely different, but I wanted to just take a look for a moment of what are those beliefs and what are those memories that you have around people selling, around being sold to. And like the big thing in my family was, if it sounds too good to be true, it will be some kind of a con. And my parents were really always super careful, and they would just say no because they never wanted to get conned. And I think that's really important. And for me, I know when I look back, and I've dealt with all of this stuff now, but I know when I look back, I was mixing up all of that in terms of what selling was about. And so no wonder when I first started my business, selling felt really uncomfortable. It felt horrible because I was questioning, it felt out of alignment. I was worrying what the other person would think. I was worrying about judgment. I was worrying about upsetting people, all kinds of things. So let's just get super clear. What I'd like you to do now, you can journal on it, you can make notes on it, or you could just think about it. But I want you to think, what are those beliefs? What are those memories that make selling feel uncomfortable or just not nice in some kind of negative way, right? And then I want you to compare it to how you really are selling. So what's really different? It's almost like that spot the difference. You remember those old pictures where you'd have two pictures that looked a bit similar, but when you looked at them, they were actually totally different. It's a little bit like that, right? And I wanted to notice, what are the differences between some of those beliefs that you used to hold on to around selling and actually around what selling feels like now? Because I bet all of you go shopping at the weekend or at night and probably quite enjoy walking around the shop, picking up clothes that you like, going and trying them on, buying them and feeling really good as you go home with your purchases. You don't buy them and feel icky and cross and frustrated because someone made you buy them, right? I certainly find it pleasurable. Going shopping is fun. You know, when I want something, I go on the internet, I'll go to the supermarket, I'll do whatever, and I'll go and buy the things that I want and I'll appreciate it. So I just want you to notice that difference. For me, this isn't saying it for you, I'm just giving this as an example, but for me, the difference was when I look back at what felt uncomfortable about selling from my childhood is that, number one, people were forcing it on you. It was being pushed on you. So people were ringing, they were phoning, it was in your face when you didn't really want it. That was one difference. And the second difference is that what people were promising then didn't actually align with what you were getting when you bought that. So they were the two things for me that really stood out, that made selling feel massively uncomfortable. And then I had a look as to how I buy today. And I know that the way that I buy today, well, I go out and I look for what I want. So yes, it might be in the shop, but equally it could be on Facebook, right? I might be scrolling through Facebook and I'll see an ad, or I'll see a free workbook, or I'll see a challenge, or I'll see something that grabs my eye and I go, oh, that's interesting, I want to know more. Sign up or get more information or whatever it is. I'm choosing to consume that information. I'm choosing to be sold to because I've got a problem that I want solving, or I've got something that I want in some way. And that's very, very different. It's got a totally different energy about it to someone trying to force it on you. So I want you just to notice, firstly, by being visible on Facebook, by creating content, by doing Facebook Lives, by doing talks in person, by networking, none of that is forcing information on anyone. None of it is making them have to say yes to you or uncomfortable. They are not going to be there if they don't want to engage. So firstly, if you've got any of that kind of thing going on, scribble it up, get rid of it, because actually it doesn't count. So I just want you to see the truth of those situations. And something I find useful around this is asking myself, so here's this belief, what's true about this, what's not true about this? And quite often you'll find that actually most of it is not true, and then the belief just pops and it disappears. You don't need to worry about it again. So now I'd really like you to compare what you're selling and how you're selling it to the ickiness of those old beliefs. Because I'm guessing if you did yesterday's task properly and you thought about the real value that you offer to your clients, you'll recognize that selling is not icky. Selling is actually serving. Selling is making a difference. Selling is living your purpose. And so one of the key phrases that I grabbed hold of a while ago that felt really good for me is that selling is serving. Because when I sell a program, when I sell my coaching, I know that I am serving that person or that group of people to the highest level possible. I know that I am facilitating that change. I know that I'm leading them through that journey. Absolutely 100% present, heart, soul, mind, the whole lot. And I'm going to give them everything that I've got to get them to that end result that they're looking for. And I will support them fully as they go. And so I want you to recognize, actually, because I know that you'll be the same, because your heart's centered, because you're doing this because you want to make a difference. You're doing this because you care, regardless of what program or products it is that you have, right? You believe in those products, you believe in that program, and you know that it can make a difference to someone's life. And as you deliver that, I know that you will do it as fully and completely and as in alignment as possible. Well, that's definitely not that old-fashioned rubbishy beliefs around selling that you used to have. Recognize and just notice for different how totally miles apart those two things are. And how would it feel instead if you took on that belief that selling is serving, selling is making a difference, selling is offering the opportunity, and it is just an opportunity. People always can decide whether they want it or not, but it's offering the opportunity to transform someone's life in some way. It's offering the solution to a problem that they have. If they don't have that problem, they're just not going to engage. So you're not annoying anyone, you're not frustrating anyone, because if they're not interested, they're just not going to listen, they're not going to be in that space. The only people in that space are people who are interested, or who do want to hear, or at least want to hear a little bit more. And so if you start changing some of those beliefs around that, suddenly selling starts to feel a little bit different. It starts to feel a little bit easier. Suddenly you feel like you can go, sigh of relief. Actually, selling feels quite good, actually, doesn't it? Because every time you sell, you're helping. And how fulfilled do you feel every time you get to help someone? Right. So what I'd like you to do now, this is the next step, I'd like you to create some power affirmations around selling, some new beliefs that you're going to slot in and think about and talk about. That head talk, you're going to say it to yourself, that's going to make selling feel empowering. So it might be things like selling is serving. It might be things like the more people I help with my services, the more fulfilled I am in life. It might be by selling, I am fulfilling my reason for being on this earth. It might be, I know that every time I sell a product or a program, I'm helping someone in some way. So I just want you to decide what might be, maybe just 3, keep it simple, but create 3 little power affirmations, 3 little sentences that feel really good and empowering about selling. So I'd like you to write those down. And once this is over, I'd like you to go and share those 3 power affirmations in dream catchers, because you'll be able to see other people's, you'll be able to inspire other people with yours, and it might give you some extra ideas as well. So you then might go back and tweak yours slightly, because you might think, oh, actually, I like that one, or I want to add that to it to make mine even more powerful. And the idea is that you don't just write these down once, right? The idea is that you say these, you shout these, you embody these. So it's not just about sitting there and kind of going, selling is serving and it feels really good. Like, no, we want to be going, selling is serving and it feels really good, right? Own it with your body. Think about what your body's doing as your mind's saying it. Say it again and again and again. Put in that passion, put in that enthusiasm, put in that love, because that's what's going to change your state around, and that's what's going to literally rewire your brain so that selling starts to feel different and starts to be far, far easier than it has been before. And then let's get to it, right? Because the real secret here, and it's what I talked about yesterday, is when you see the true value in what it is you're offering, selling is easy, because you know that selling is actually just helping. You recognize that every single person that you sell to, you are serving and you are helping. So please, the best thing you can do for yourself is daily rethink about the value that you're truly giving people, how it can really transform lives, how it has that ripple effect, not just on that one person you're helping, but maybe their friends and family as well, because we don't know the extent of the good that we do in the world. So don't underestimate it, don't play it down, don't question yourself. Really start to focus on that value that you give and how good it feels, because when you tap into that and when you sell from that place, that's where the magic happens. That's what the secret is. That's when selling feels amazing, because you literally can start living your life purpose. And every time you sell, you're in alignment and you're in purpose. The very last thing I want you to do around this is I want you to think about that picture that you've got in your head. In NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, we're taught that subconsciously we always think in pictures, okay? So your subconscious, whether you're aware of it or not, will have pictures that goes with everything that happens in your life. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment what picture you currently have that goes with that idea of selling. Maybe, possibly, you might still have a picture in your head of that person knocking on the door, interrupting dinner, and your dad getting cross. Maybe you've got some picture in your head of those false eyelashes with someone selling mascara, okay? If you've got a negative picture or an unresourceful picture around selling, I want you to just recognize it first, see that picture, and then I want you to think, well, what picture would you like to install in its place? And all you need to do, you can do it with your eyes open, with your eyes closed, you build up that picture in your mind's eye. So For selling to feel comfortable, for selling to feel exciting, for selling to feel really good, for you to feel like you're really making a difference every time you sell, what picture would go with that? What would you see? Where would you be? Who would be there? What feelings might go with it? What colours might go with it? Where do you see it? Are you in the picture? Are you looking at the picture? Is it colour or is it black and white? Is there a sound that goes with that picture? Really build that picture up in your mind's eye, and every time you then are about to talk about your offer to a potential ideal client, bring that picture up, step into that picture, so that you're coming from that place of alignment when you sell, so that you're coming from that heart-centered place. And please remember with this, money is just energy. And the way the universe works is that we need to give and we need to receive. We can't just give, right? The whole idea is that we give and we receive, because that's the ebb and flow of life. And so it is natural and it is normal for you to receive money, that energy in the form of money, every time you give and share your gifts with the world. So start thinking about money differently. Just because you're saying yes to money, you're also saying yes to people valuing what you offer more. They take it more seriously. They make more of a commitment. Not only that, but you deserve this, and by you having more, someone else isn't having less. I remember there was someone did the equation of the amount of wealth in the world and the amount of people alive in the world, and it was something like every single human being on this planet, if the wealth was divided equally, would have over 1 million. I don't know if it was pounds or dollars. I want you to think about that for the moment. So you having more does not mean that someone has to have less. There is more than enough to go round. Money is in abundance. Wealth is in abundance. And when you give all of yourself, and when you help people, and when you transform lives, and when you give your gifts, even if that's teaching someone about skincare, right? That's still a gift, and that's still life-changing. I want you to know the power of that. And I want you to recognize that that has value, and you deserve to receive value in return. Okay, go and have fun with this, okay? And at the end of the day, it's just a decision. It's a decision and it's a commitment. Just choose that selling is going to feel easy. Selling is going to feel fun. Selling is making a difference. Selling is fulfilling. Selling feels amazing. Just tell yourself that. Decide it. Say it to yourself daily, and notice how easy selling starts to become. That's it for today. Go and share your thoughts around this on Dreamcatchers and your 3 power affirmations. Take care. Bye for now.